Okay, guys, so we're going to pick up where we left off yesterday, talking about literary analysis and some common patterns. Okay, so just a few more slides here. I wanted to remind you guys that very often when characters are physically blind, that means that they have some kind of other second sight. So many times physical blindness can mean that a character might be able to see uh, more emotionally, or even have some kind of supernatural ability to see into the future. That's sort of an old archetype. Sometimes physical blindness might also just mean that those characters are able to interpret others or sense things that other characters can't. So again, we talked about there's no reason to describe eating. There's no reason to describe the seasons or weather unless it's important symbolically. There's also no reason to have a character fall ill or have some kind of disability or something physically interesting about that person, like blindness, unless it's symbolically code for a deeper meaning beyond that. Okay, and we will actually have two characters in this unit go blind, and in both cases that indicates that the characters, something is very important is happening with those characters, even a supernatural event. Okay, you do not have to memorize this whole list, but I just wanted to again say, when characters have an illness of some kind or are struck low with some kind of physical ailment, that oftentimes means that there is something symbolically going on behind that. So we will, for instance, in this unit, see a character who is physically paralyzed, and that means that it can mean spiritual paralysis as well. The character is frozen or stuck in some spiritual way. Can also be indicative of something important happening directly after the paralysis strikes. We will encounter the disease malaria in this unit, which literally translates to bad air. Malaria is oftentimes used as a suffocating detail in the story. The disease is sort of everywhere, affecting everyone all at once, and that will happen in the story The Lagoon. Fevers are mysterious, and they oftentimes carry victims off without any explanation. That will again occur in two kinds of our stories, or two stories this unit. So when you see disease in literature or anything like that, you want to pay attention to the way that is used, and it oftentimes will be connected to interpreting the character. Okay, finally, irony. Make sure that you look for the unexpected or the surprising in a story. There's situational irony, which is a twist ending. Dramatic irony, which is when we know more than the characters in the story. And then there's verbal irony. So as we go through this unit, we'll pick out all three types of irony, but it's useful many times to just try and look for what is unexpected. So I know many of you guys read Huckleberry Finn last year. The fact that Huck repeats racist language without really understanding what he's saying, or having the insight that it's actually he who is the character that is most kind to Jim. And that lack of self-understanding is a form of dramatic irony. We know more than Huck as we read that story. Okay, so we'll look for those ironic moments. And on that note, you guys are assigned tonight to read two short stories. The first is called An Appointment with Love, and the second is called The Chaser. So just as an exercise, see if you can spot the irony in both stories, and see if you can tell me what kind of irony it is. You are to read these are very, very short stories, but you're to read these stories and then answer the question on Google Classroom: which story did you like more and why? Both are about love, but one is a decidedly darker tale than the other. And I'm interested to hear what you guys say. You'll be earning participation credits simply for responding to the question that I ask. And then we will have a bit of a discussion on Monday's class after I see what you guys write on Google Classroom. Okay, and just a reminder, keep everything appropriate for school. Make sure your responses are academic. You don't have to defend too much here because it's really just an opinion, but I'm just looking to hear from you guys and see what your taste is in literature and what kind of story you would gravitate towards more. And then we will get going in earnest in our first unit of 20th century short fiction starting next week. Okay, that's it for today. I will see you guys on Monday.